Hello, my friends. Let's talk about the full moon in the sign of Gemini. It's on December 15th. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can have something to look at besides my face. There we go. All right, this is what this full moon in Gemini looks like. There it is. Let me tell you, earlier on the 14th, when the moon made its conjunction with Jupiter before it became a full moon, picked up a few extra Sagittarius qualities, Sun's in Sag too, by the way. That just tells me right off the bat that this full moon in the sign of Gemini is, and as we've been feeling it for a couple of days as we come to it, so Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th, and through Sunday the 15th, a lot of information coming at us, a lot of information overload. And I want you to take some time as we come to this full moon, because a lot of you will see this early, but as we come to this full moon, to do what you can to start to filter some of the overload of information that's coming at us. It is just one crisis after another out there in the world today. So, or these days. So it's just important that you are in control of what your information overload or information resources are all about. Okay. Because Gemini is a very light-hearted, fun-loving, intuitive zodiac sign. I am a Gemini, so I know how that is. I can get serious, but the Gemini is usually pretty fun. It's youthful, it's playful, it's charismatic. But we've just had so much information overload these days. It has been difficult to sift and sort through all of that information. And with Jupiter, the moon making that conjunction to Jupiter, it was on Saturday afternoon, the 14th, just before 2 p.m. Eastern. And this full moon is on Sunday, the 15th at 4 a.m. Eastern time. And so that just tells me that we're just absolutely overloaded with too much information. It's just like, you know what overload is. I don't need to describe it. But there's an interesting thing with this full moon. And what it comes down to is the ruler of Gemini is Mercury. And today, on December 15th, Mercury is stationary and it will go direct. It's stationary to direct just 12 hours after the full moon. That tells me, let me tell you, Mercury retrograde doesn't have to be major problems. We always have to do stuff. Mercury's retrograde a third of the year. So, I mean, we can't not do things while it's retrograde. But on those days that it's stationary, stays at the same degree, and this is one of those days. Those are days where we can feel really frustrated because there's not a lot of things flowing and moving. Mercury in Sagittarius, it's in its detrimental sign. It is straight across the chart from Gemini, from Jupiter and Gemini as well. Not quite all the degrees we need, but they're all there. This is like a big old batch of stuff. It's not just one focus on this full moon, okay? And when we have that going on, when we have these retrogrades during a full moon, everything that comes together, we can see this. We can see the frustration. We can see that there's just too much happening. And it's just like taking a drink out of a fire hose. It is overwhelming, but not because of water, because of information, right? The sun's the natural ruler of Leo, and here's Mars in Leo retrograde. The natural ruler of the moon sign, the sign that the moon is in, is Gemini, and here's Mercury retrograde stationary in over here in Sagittarius. And the moon is hanging out with Jupiter, ruler of Sag. All of these things come together in a sense that it feels like just it's overload and it's too much. So that's what the weekend of the 13th, 14th, 15th with that full moon can really represent a period where we're in overload. There is too much going on. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of layers of tension and stress bubbling to the surface. Things that come to mind, it's just like a traffic jam, right? When you're on the highway, you get to move a little bit and it's jammed. And then you get to build up to 10 miles an hour and then you have to stop and you sit still for 20 minutes. It's that type of feeling, but with the information that's coming at us. So communication can be stalled. A lot of things can be misunderstood. But when it comes to the full moon, just the essence of a full moon, that represents everything is on the table. I'm not kidding. It's just like tipping up a basket and just dropping it all on your desk or your table, and you can just see everything, but you got to sift and sort through what you're keeping and what you're not keeping. That's what full moons are about. Seeing everything, knowing everything that's happening, and feeling the frustration of it, and then taking a few deep breaths. Gemini rules the lungs. Take a few deep breaths and start to sift and sort through the overload, the misunderstandings that are going on in our heads. Okay, there's just a lot to go on here. Now, Gemini is curiosity and it loves to dig in deep. So once we clear the deck and it's a nautical term, once we clear the deck and create more space for our minds, for our hearts, for our souls, then we'll be able to play with this because the full moon phase lasts for 2.5 days approximately. So we'll have an opportunity to do and to work through that. So I'm going to stop my share. Where is that button? There it is. I want you to know that the full moon is written out, and I've got lots and lots of details. I'm just touching a few bases here in this forecast, but the written forecast is on my blog. Please come and join my newsletter, and it will come right directly to your inbox. I'm not a mass marketer, you guys. It's just me. So you're supporting a very small business. It's just me. And so come and join that newsletter, and I will get that right into your inbox. And thank you guys thanks for watching. Blessings, everybody, and namaste.